celebrating month, and I've met so many wonderful women, women that have left me with a lot of homework to do, women that have reminded me about how it is important to be your own woman, be strong, and to do what you can do at your best. And today is no different. I have a very strong woman with me today, and I'm very excited to be actually sitting next to her today. She is from the STEM field, and for those of you who want to know what STEM field means, it means people that have studied in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I know what you're all thinking, yes, those are the smart ones, the intelligent ones, who we sometimes call the nerds. And today I'm sitting with Mrs. Nomcebo Lamini. Thank you very much for joining me on the show.
Thank you for having me, Nomcebo. It's a pleasure.
Oh, my word. I am the one that should be saying that, you know what, it is such an absolute pleasure. And you work for Eswatini Electricity Company as a research, I want to get it right, research and renewables engineer. What do you do? What happens in that sector?
That sector. Thank you for your question. So, as the research and renewables engineer, I am focused mostly on supporting sustainable or alternative forms of energy. Mm-hmm. I think, as you have seen, that technology is advancing,
right.
And now we're at a stage where solar, hydro, wind, alternative forms of energy are coming into the market, as opposed to fossil fuels, mm-hmm. and thermal energy plants.
Right.
So I am promoting those kinds of projects within my company.
Nice.
I'm also responsible for, I'm co-leading the Makuka Hydro project as in the development stage, mm-hmm. and I also assist with the regulator in operationalizing a small-scale embedded generator framework. Uh-huh. I think you've seen solar panels on people's rooftops.
Right.
So we're trying to get into that space and regulate it so that we ensure that there's quality systems connected on the grid.
Did you guys hear that? That whole thing just sounded so intelligent, and over my head. That is really exciting to hear. A beautiful black, strong woman, speak like you and be in such a challenging, an interesting field of work and representing us. You're doing a good job. Thank you so much. And it's not just me that's actually seeing your success. Standard Bank has actually seen your wonderful work, your commitment, in making sure that the country, grows, the kingdom of Eswatini. And you were chosen as one of the Blue Sheroes by Standard Bank. How does that feel?
I don't think there are proper adjectives to describe that feeling. Mm. And to this day, I am not sure who nominated me. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's a good thing because I was just doing my job.
Right.
And I found myself being nominated as part of the awardees.
Right.
And I'm sure if it's a male or a female, it means people are noticing what is being done. So it's an honor and a privilege, and I don't take that lightly.
Right.
And it's heartwarming to actually be seen, especially as a woman, because you always we've always thought that those spaces are reserved for males, especially in engineering. But now that they are recognizing women who are in diverse fields like engineering, it's really an honor.
Well, thanks to Standard Bank Eswatini for actually finding real women to celebrate. So STEM is generally a male-dominated sector or field or profession. Can you just share with us, your experience and some of the challenges and how you got into it, your challenges and how you overcame those challenges?
Yeah, so I'm the I'm an adventurous type of person. So I think in high school I decided I just want to do engineering. I didn't know any female who did it. I just looked at something that is hard, that will push me out of my comfort zone. So I didn't know what type of engineering I wanted. And I guess electrical engineering, because I'm an electrical engineer by profession. It chose me because once I got out of high school, SEC, I think it was SEC at that time, or SEP at that time, was taking high school students and putting them on a trainee program. And then after that you go to tertiary. So I guess electrical engineering found me, and I pursued my studies, got into a leadership position very early on in my career, and I think that is where I found the challenges, because I was the first female to lead a distribution depot, and I thought it was just normal, not to find that maybe I'll have some kind of stereotype. People would ask, we want the manager, not that girl, you see. So in a way, that negative talk, I then took it and felt I had to work harder, because I didn't see anyone who looks like me, so I felt like I had to prove myself to
so
everyone.
You were hard on yourself.
Yeah, so I was hard on myself. And looking back, I realized that it was sort of like an imposter syndrome, where you have to work hard, where you have to know everything. But it's only now that I'm realizing that, no, like, I'm worth it. I don't need to prove myself to anyone, because that element is not required from males. No one is expecting someone to prove themselves, especially in this field. So right now I'm just doing my job and enjoying it thoroughly.
Nice.
Yeah, and I don't feel the need to prove myself in any case. So that proving myself, working hard in the beginning was, I think that was the challenge. But now I have made a conscious decision to just feel that I'm worth it, and what I'm doing is well, and celebrate my success, even if no one else is celebrating it.
And I think you're bringing up a very vital point, the imposter syndrome. And I think those are it's something that we need to talk more, and really focus more, because I'm talking about that young person, that is intelligent like you, who are educated just like you, but they're killing themselves inside. What would be that first step, for a young woman right now, sitting at home, who would like to go, into a STEM sector? What would be your word of advice to that young person?
For me, it would be just to go for it.
Right.
If you love it, you just need to go for it. Because it has to come from yourself. Internally, it has to be something that you love, because I must mention that it's not easy. The targets are high. I think even for us working at EEC, everyone is expecting new power plants. So you have to love it. No one has to push you.
Right.
So to that girl sitting at home, I think right now it's easier, because we've already paved the path for them. So for them, it is just to focus and honestly believe that you deserve the seat on the table. And I think, as I was mentioning before, that it's really mind-boggling for me, because I always have seen girls getting prizes in high school, like in prize-giving day for high marks. But then when you come to the boardrooms, you don't find
There are no
there,
women.
yeah, what has happened
What has
in
happened to those
between?
women? Very good
Yes.
question. And I think we're going to talk more about that when we come back. We need to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we speak more with Nomcebo.
Okay, but vuka sikhulume.
Is marriage the prize? No.
Do I smash on the first date?
Also, I don't have exes. I only have a current.
You're watching a Cuppa with Nomcebo, which is brought to you by Standard Bank Eswatini. We are celebrating wonderful, successful Emaswati women, and I must say it's been quite a positive journey, and I do hope as you're watching the show that you have been inspired as well. I'm speaking to Nomcebo, who works for EEC. She has been sharing some really interesting, insights about, the job that you do and being in the STEM industry. And it's quite an exhilarating position to be in, as myself, I'm broadcast, a broadcaster, and here I am, I'm meeting a whole engineer, and you love what you do. How do you keep yourself motivated?
Okay, I always call myself the people, there's intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So I always draw inside myself. As I've told you that when I entered the industry, there were not so many females. So, and there was no one for me to look up to. So I had to draw the strength from inside. So I think it has taught me to draw my strength from inside and always think about that little girl in me, that 16-year-old who was ambitious and always want to make her proud. Right. So that is how I stay motivated. When I feel like I can't go on, or when I feel like I can't do something, I always remind myself of the decision I made, or the pet I made to that girl, that I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to, achieve my dreams.
I think your success also probably has to do with the way you were socialized, growing up, because I feel there is a certain factor, your surroundings, how you're socialized to actually even think like that, because that on its own, is it's a skill, it's something on its own, to have those tools, to actually see yourself as this ambitious young person. How was your family life growing up?
It was great. I grew up in a loving home. In fact, my dad, now that you talk about it, my dad, when I told him I wanted to do engineering, he was the first one who said, just go for it. You can do anything that males think they can do. In fact, girls are smarter. That was my dad, by the way, who said that. It's not me. So he told me that, girls are smarter. So I think that upbringing, and my mom, of course, has always been supportive.
Right.
And yeah, so my upbringing, I had, it instilled, positivity in me, and being told early on that I can do anything I can put my mind into. And I think that is where I am today because
Which
of
means
my upbringing.
that support structure is very important. The family support
Right.
structure is key. Let's talk to that young person at home right now or wherever they are watching the show, that young woman who probably doesn't have the family support structure, the people that are going to whisper, positiveness into their ears. What can they do to just get up and believe in themselves and just get out there and be another research and renewables engineer just like you?
Yeah. Maybe what I'd say to that girl is try to discover who you are first, because I think the golden rule for anything is, know yourself and find out what drives you. I think most of the time we always leave that aside, yet you don't need a lot of resources to do that. Find out what drives you and then just do that. You will find that God and the universe will always support you if you're focused.
Right.
And maybe even with young people today, they are so distracted, maybe by social media and thinking other people's lives are okay.
Yeah.
Everyone is going through something. Everyone has to overcome something, and I think to those girls that just need a little bit of a push, I'd advise them just to go for it, because you never know until you try.
Right.
You never know until you try. And I always also tell myself to always bet on myself, so that even if no one is there, as long as you bet on yourself, that's just it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to start betting on myself
Yes.
as well. And speaking to you, when I met you and I was reading your biography, you are married, so you've got the family, side of things that you need to take care of, and then it's your career. How do you juggle the two?
That's a trick question. Because to be honest, I've never wanted that juggling thing. In fact, when I do a self-reflection, when I reflect, I always also like to look at nature and look at the sun. And when I feel like I'm failing at something, I always look at the sun and think in all its majesty and its entirety. It doesn't shine at all places at the same time. So I allow myself to be okay. If maybe I'm shining in my career, my family is probably suffering. And if I'm shining at home, my career is probably... So I've come to peace with that, because you can, just like I say, you can look at the sun. Right now it's bright, southern hemisphere, northern hemisphere, maybe it's still dark.
Right.
So in our lives as well, it might be like that. So I think we need to be kinder to ourselves. Yeah.
That is very interesting. We are going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to talk about how she feels, being a woman, how she pampers herself, how she plays, because there's time to play and then there's time to work. We'll be right back. in today's episode of A Cuppa with Nomcebo, which is proudly brought to you by Standard Bank, I'm having a conversation with Nomcebo Dlamini, who is a research and renewables engineer at Eswatini electricity company. Trust me, there's a reason why I'm stuttering when I say that. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. You're a busy person. Before I ask you about how you play and how you just really let go of stuff, you're a board member and you do public speaking as well. Can you share us about those? Please tell us more about those two activities.
Oh yeah, I'm a board member at Nisela, so it's a group of companies, mostly involved in agriculture and farming. Never thought I'd be there, but I think when you do something well, you get noticed. It's quite an interesting journey because even there, I'm the only female in an all-white male board, so it's quite interesting. Yeah, so like. And it's quite stimulating because you get to understand agriculture. You get to understand things that you never thought. So we're talking about dams, we're talking about banana, we're talking about high value crops, not in engineering anymore. But I think when you push yourself and push your boundaries, you find that you can actually do more. And the other part is under Toastmasters. And yes, I also participate there. So it's a non-profit organization that helps people improve their public speaking skills and leadership skills.
Nice.
So I had to take it on just to improve because we always have an area of improvement. So it's a self-improvement journey where I practice over with a group of people to improve my public speaking skills, and it's going quite well.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
So with that hectic schedule of yours, how do you let loose? You know, what does Nomcebo do? You know, when she's not at work or not in a board meeting, what do you do for fun?
So first, I train. My day starts at 4, so I go for training. That look. So it keeps me sane. It's my daily therapy. I train in the morning, and so I also love traveling with my friends and family. They keep me sane. And I love hiking as well. And and music as well, just on my own anyway, dancing on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Women's Month, and it's all about us. What are you going to do to celebrate yourself?
Luckily, it was my birthday on on Tuesday.
Oh.
So my month is just perfect, so I just took leave and I got a voucher. I'm pampering myself.
Nice.
And also it's a time for me to self-reflect and see if I'm achieving my goals, making an impact in my community.
Right.
And trying to also achieve goals that are bigger than me. So that is okay, it's not how I let loose, but at a bigger scale. Because I think I'm always driven by goals that are bigger than myself.
Okay. What is I'm just going to ask you a quick one. I'm going to give you 1 second to answer it. The goofiest thing you've ever done in your life? The goofiest.
Goofy.
Yeah, we want to see the lighter side. People never imagine you'd do or say.
So I went to Amsterdam, and it was so much fun. At the hotel I had booked in, I hadn't paid, but I went back to sleep and sneaked out in the morning.
She's normal, people. She's normal. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, and many thanks to Standard Bank for sponsoring A Cuppa with Nomcebo as we are celebrating us. women in Eswatini. So I have this beautiful gift for you, courtesy of our friends from Eswatini Candles. This is a candle I'd love to share with you because you are such a light and inspiration in everyone's heart and soul as they are watching you today on Eswatini TV. And we wish you nothing but the best. Continue representing us women. You're doing a good job and we are very proud of you. And I pray that the Almighty God continues to give you the strength and for you to just keep on growing and achieving all your dreams and your aspirations. It has really been great having you on the show.
Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. And with that, we have come to the end of tonight's episode of A Cuppa with Nomcebo. It's been quite a journey. Many thanks to Standard Bank Eswatini for remembering to celebrate the Shiros, the blue Shiros in the kingdom of Eswatini. With that, it's good night and God bless.
A Cuppa with Nomcebo was proudly brought to you by Standard Bank as we celebrate International Women's Month.
Kude lesinye isikhathi ngaphandle kwalesi.
Aba research bafunze.
Being risky means ukuthi nalokuwa kwayo kulula.
Nathi kufuna sende ukukhicita lokusemndeni.
Welcome to Value Auto Parts, the leading auto parts retailer in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Our car parts range includes filters, braking systems, suspension and steering, lubricants, body parts, and engine parts. Contact us today or visit one of our stores in these locations. Value Auto Parts, keep the wheels turning.
Ingabe unesidingo semali ephuthuma ungapheleli hour ungakhathazeki select ukhonela wena itholele i-payday advance loan lengafika ku-5,000 emalangeni longayithola ngel-hour linye nje 4 yebo boleka ngokuhlakanipha hayi ngesikhathi lesidze tijwayele ukuboleka ngendlela lefanele gwema imaloni ngesikhathi lesidze leta nekukhathateka kokubhadala iminyaka leminyeni ngekuthi ukhethe iloni lencane longayibhadala masinyane wena nje uma usebenzisa hulumende separastatal noma senkampani letimele leloni yakhele wena sivakashele emahhovisini ethu lathi cisisa kavelo